My name is Candace Sanderson, and I welcome you. I have been connected to angels and multiple guides since my spontaneous opening in 2013, and these messengers are actively involved in my daily life. Sometimes they give me a brief message that is exact, it's precise, it's on point. But then the more I think about it, I see much wider implications. Other times, the messengers weave their magic through my often complex out of body adventures, offering pieces of a puzzle that later fall into place with such beauty and grace that it leaves me breathless. But enough talk. Let me share specifics. I'm going to start with the recent communication, but stick around. I will end this episode with an amazing interaction involving soul retrievals of multiple spirits who have passed. So you won't want to miss this one. And although that experience in itself was remarkable, the after the fact validation blew me away. It was one of the most touching and profound confirmations I have ever had. And it came from the most unexpected source, my periodontist. We were both speechless. Let's begin. I belong to several metaphysical online platforms. When someone will ask a question or when they make a statement, my messengers often respond before I get a chance to do so. Not long ago, someone who's new to meditation said that he really needed to learn how to relax more because he wanted to have an out of body experience. He said he was close. He would lie down, he would listen to meditations, and he would start experiencing those vibrations throughout his body. Now, those vibrations are often a precursor to an out of body experience. But nowadays, many people go out of body without having those. But this man said if only he could relax just a little bit more, he thought he could reach that OBE state. So he asked the group for suggestions on how to relax more. As I read his request, my messenger said, the key lies in stillness, not relaxation. Be ye like the hummingbird as she feeds. Is she not still within her flight? As they stated those words, I had a vision of a hummingbird drinking from a large flower, and her wings were a blur, but her body was perfectly still. And then the message continued. Within this stillness, she drinks freely from the nectar of life. Now, there are several lessons and parallels that I could draw just from this short message, but that's for another time. The door between my 3D existence and the messenger's 5D world of energy is open. To me, it feels like a screen door. So there is a barrier, but a porous barrier that allows me to hear those whispers of wisdom from the messengers. As I thought about finding stillness, not relaxation, I had to agree with the messengers. It is not relaxing more to achieve that OBE, it's learning to allow, to hear differently, to see differently. I think about my initial message on my morning commute way back in August. Actually, it was August 28th, 2013. I certainly did not need to be more relaxed because, after all, I was behind the wheel of a car. I would have been in real trouble if I had been more relaxed. I understand that relaxation, although important to engage stillness, is not the end all. It is not the most important prerequisite for an out of body experience. For me, once those doors to the other side opened, it became easier each time to access these beautiful realms. The messengers tell me that an electromagnetic path is established with each trip to the 5D, each connection. It's part of our body's innate GPS that keeps track of our travels. But we can, of course, develop tools to maximize and expand that GPS, putting it at our fingertips. I frequently talk about bookmarking 5D experiences. Judith Pennington from the Institute for the Awakened Mind, and she's also trainer at Monroe Institute's Discovery Program, where they map our brain waves during meditation. But she calls this setting a landmark. Bob Monroe, founder of the Institute, labeled this as a PIC, P-I-C, picture identification code, to picture something that reminds you of where you are. Then visualizing that code will return you to that site. Bookmarks, landmarks, and PICs work the same way. These tools help solidify the natural pins we set using our innate GPS. I have a question. Have you ever awakened from a dream and then gone right back to sleep again and you start off where the dream ended? If you have not done that, try it. It works and it's fun. You can even set a bookmark by remembering the details in that very moment that you wake up. Then you use those details, the bookmark, to return to that dream the following night or whenever you wish. Let me share another example of bookmarking. This happened in the dream state, but it was not a dream. That's only where it began. At the end of February, I decided to do some soul retrievals as soon as I woke up. First, this is something easy for me. Years ago, I attended the Lifeline course at Monroe Institute. It was a profound experience, and it proved to me that these retrievals were genuine, not just something I was making up. During that week-long program, I received first, last, and in addition, sometimes middle names of people that I was retrieving. That made it so easy to document and to verify. But if that wasn't proof enough, I also received cities and states where they lived, and sometimes their places of business. Professor Google verified these specific data. Now, this didn't happen just once, but throughout the entire 6-day program. I left Monroe Institute with the knowledge that not only was soul retrieval possible, but it was almost second nature to me. Now, when I travel to the realms or the dimensions that Bob Monroe refers to as focus level 27, I always pause as I pass focus 21. And I take the time to send a beacon out. I call for others who might be ready to move on. And when they gather, I take them with me and I drop them off with their angels and guides or their other loved ones in Focus 27. Now, Focus 27, that's what Bob Monroe called it. My Southern Baptist upbringing would call that the gates of heaven. When I do this, I do not have to be in a meditative state. I have done these retrievals while eating dinner, during conversations, while watching a TV program. I allow another aspect of me, of myself, to travel to these dimensions while the physical me stays engaged in the 3D. Just like as the messenger said, a hummingbird who accesses stillness while in flight. Back to the example from last February. Before I had gone to bed, I had set the intentions to do retrievals when I woke up. That was the plan. So when I began stirring around 4 in the morning, I forced myself to slowly become lucid in the dream. Forced is not really the most appropriate word because I had to maintain a balanced state of suspended animation. If I forced myself, if I moved too quickly, I would wake up. So I'm teetering between sleep and wakefulness. I could not force it. I needed to gently urge my observer, who is that aspect of me who is outside of my body, the one that is usually active in my dreams. But I needed her to take the reins while my 3D body continues to sleep and to rest. I do not want to wake up. Within seconds, I found myself in a very green, swampy environment. First of all, it was not as yucky as it sounds, but it certainly was not where I wanted to be. I know that the T formula, thoughts, energy, action, needed adjustment. I needed to raise my energy vibrations to get to focus 21 so that I could access those realms between 21 and 27. I used a few of my psychic tools that we talked about in the last 11 episodes. I use those tools to make myself smile and feel uplifted. And within about 5 minutes or so, which is actually quite a lot of time to keep that balance, but I found myself in an out of body state. And I was floating above an arc. It looked like a rainbow bridge between Focus 21 and Focus 27. For those who are interested in out of body experiences or astral projections, I just use lucid dreaming as a platform to launch into an OBE state. But back to waking up. It was time to engage my imagination. My messengers have told me that imagination is a way to prime the intuition pump. It's what gets it started. We use our eyes to see, our ears to hear, and imagination to boost our psychic skills. This is something that I have learned to embrace. After all, thoughts are things in the 5D, and that's how we build those things with our thoughts. So now that I am above this 21 to 27 arc, I build a cafe, a warm and inviting cafe. I set up shop and I imagine umbrella tables with comfortable chairs. And within a few minutes, a group of 3 or 4 people arrive. They are willing to accompany me on their last trek of their transition. So off we go to Focus 27. Mission accomplished. Once I established this place, this cafe, I realized it works well. And I can use this as a semi-permanent way station for future retrievals. I want to bookmark it. So I look around. It's comfortable. It's outdoors. It's natural. It's inviting, but it needed something. I decided to add a touch of flair that was also very functional. Light. It needed light, a guiding light that would remain on so that it would attract those who are ready to complete their final transition. I didn't have to be there. That light would bring them to me. An idea flashes into my mind. I could use a giant tiki torch on the outside entrance, always lit as a beacon of hope, a place for the lost to gather. And that torch makes a perfect bookmark for me. That night, I go to bed with the same intention as before, to do soul retrievals. But now I have help. My bookmark is a GPS pin. All I have to do is think of that oversized tiki torch and I will go there directly. Easy peasy. That is the beauty of establishing psychic tools like bookmarks, especially when you set the pin in real time when you're in the 5D. They work beautifully. I begin stirring the same time as the morning before, right at 4 o'clock. This time, there is no trudging through the swamps. I picture my bookmark, that tiki torch, and immediately I'm there. And I meet the surprise of my life. There are over 30 children gathered, ranging in age from infant to prepubescent. They are from recent wars in Ukraine, Gaza, and Israel. With assistance from angels, guides, and a few puppy dog spirits, I move them en masse to the other side, to Focus 27, the park, heaven, whatever label you want to use. That afternoon, I receive a text from my periodontist. I knew my 6-month dental cleaning was months away, so the text surprised me. Her text tells me about the dream she had. She was not exactly certain that it was a dream because she was having trouble sleeping, but she saw a very vivid picture of a woman holding a torch like the Statue of Liberty. Okay, pause here. Holding a torch like the Statue of Liberty? I had cold chills. Without realizing it before, that's exactly what my oversized tiki torch looks like. She continued, texting that she saw an almost blinding ball of light. And then a familiar voice said what she saw was Candy gathering all the spirits together and making a wake up call. But she knew it was not her wake up call. She was there as a witness. I was blown away. I texted back and asked her to call me, which she did right away. We talked for a long time as I filled her in on details about what retrievals were and how I had set up this way station using a tiki torch and how I used that to rescue the children from war-torn countries. There were more synchronicities, including an uncanny link to Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty beyond the torch connection, and a connection to that familiar voice that told her this information. But that's for another story. I could not help but think of the plaque at the foot of Lady Liberty. It was written by Emma Lazarus. Lazarus, the man from the Bible who rose from the dead. You cannot make this stuff up. I Googled Emma Lazarus's poem and my eyes welled with tears when I read that the holder of the torch, Lady Liberty, is called the Mother of Exiles. The poem says, quote, from her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome as she lifts her lamp beside the golden door. This is precisely what the way station is, a safe haven for exiles, a worldwide welcome regardless of nationality or religion, showing the way to everlasting peace through the golden door to the other side. This was one of the most touching and powerful validations I have ever received. But this validation was not just for me. It was for my periodontist, this lovely woman who was so surprised that my name popped up in her dream that she reached out to me. Note to self and to listeners, if someone you know shows up in your dream or is mentioned in your dream, if at all possible, contact them. When you drift in and out of sleep during the wee hours of the morning, you do more than just dream. You drop into a realm that transcends the trials and tribulations of our everyday lives, where the inexplicable clearly exists, but often goes unnoticed or brushed aside as wishful thinking or an overactive imagination. You slip into a mystical realm where the seemingly impossible becomes possible. You may discover, as my friend did, that you become a witness to a dimension where hope and love and peace come to the rescue of those who are confused, lonely, and in pain. What is this place? It's not easily defined using human words, but I tell you this, it is where truth lies. Truth with a capital T. These are the realms of wisdom that at one time only the great sages of antiquity could traverse, but not so now. These experiences are available to all, to anyone willing to withhold judgment long enough to follow the wisdom of their hearts. Once you've found these magical places, the inexplicable presents with such clarity that you no longer believe, because now you know you have peeked into realms that can change your life forever. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to like, to share, to comment, and to subscribe. Remember the importance of kindness. That's how we get through life, one smile at a time. Until next time, goodbye.